there.
Long enough.
And it talks. Great.
I wanted to play that game you teased in your Crystal Chronicles video.
But I didn't tease any other game in that video.
This flashback suggests otherwise.
Gods of childhood nostalgia, tell me which game to play. Nah. Okay, maybe I did tease Gladius in the Crystal Chronicles video, but I think I'll stick to the game that I'm playing right now.
You're not playing anything, you're just staring at a blank TV screen.
I know, and it's fun.
Play Gladius.
No.
Do it.
Nah.
I command you.
Eh-eh.
I'll give you ice cream.
You've got a deal. Where did it go? I was just trying to turn it on with my mind. If I made it disappear, I can bring it back too. When you first start the game, the first thing you see is the LucasArts logo, where the guy turns the eyelashes into a sword and gets struck by lightning. Then he's like, let's just put that back. Then we get a story about how the old Emperor of Imperia, yes, that's the name of the empire, wanted to conquer all the surrounding lands, and the barbarian king of Nordok said, no! Then war happened. But all of the bloodshed and hatred awakened a giant tower of flesh and people with a dragon on top. This is the Dark God, and its name is... the Dark God. There are 4 other gods in this game that govern over the elements of air, earth, water, and fire, and their names are Eris, Solum, Maritimus, and Exero. So why didn't they give the Dark God a name like... El Darko? Names are hard, leave me alone. The Dark God decimates both armies, then the Valkyrie, Warriors of Light, join the battle, and eventually the Dark God is slain, a temple is built where it fell, and its heart is sealed within the temple to stop it from rising again. Imperia and Nordok call a truce, and the Valkyrie have all been wiped out. Now the new Emperor says, I have an idea, let's stab each other for fun instead of murder, and brought back the Gladiator games. Now we get to the title screen, and starting the game, you get to choose whether you want to play as Valens or Ursula, and this also doubles as the difficulty selection. Ursula is easy mode because she's a girl and 2003 was a different time. I went with Valens, mainly because I myself am a man, or at least I was last time I checked. Yep. Starting as Valens, you see that his father, Munio, who was one of the best gladiators in Imperia, was killed by a band of outlaws. Valens was there too, but he miraculously survived. Then Valens and his best friend and adopted brother, Ludo, practice fight for an excuse to give you the combat tutorial. You move around, select your attacks or other skills, etc. Valens takes over his father's school because gladiators and fish are one and the same. They both travel in schools and fight to entertain the masses. Watch out, here comes Basius. The first step in rebuilding Munio's school is to earn the Talisman of Imperia so that you can compete in the games. Win this one fight, and there you go. You got your talisman. Now you can freely wander around the map and go to any city you want to. But every city is pretty much the same. A menu, where you can either go to the arena or the shop. The main objective of the game is to compete in the high tournaments in the city of Caltha, and to do that, you need to win the championship in each region, but there are several prerequisites you need to fulfill before qualifying, all of which are displayed in the goals menu. There are certain badges needed from completing certain leagues, and you need to win the tournaments in each town, but to qualify for the tournaments, you need to earn enough cups, and you earn cups by winning battles in leagues. Each battle is worth a certain number of points, so you don't need to win every battle to get the cups you need, and some leagues are worth more cups than others, and there are some that need badges from other leagues before you can even enter. Since all of the gameplay is battle, let's talk more about that. It's very slow-paced, turn-based, strategically intensive gladiator stuff. It sounds boring, but it was fun enough for me to sit there playing when I was a kid, breathing like... trying to give myself a sore throat so I wouldn't have to go to school the next day, and that's mainly because no two battles are exactly the same. There is a wide variety of gladiators you go up against, requiring different strategies for each battle, like taking the high ground to deal more damage to a real tanky guy, or positioning yourself behind objects or other opponents so people with ranged attacks can't get a clear shot at you. On top of that, you can recruit all kinds of different gladiators with different skills and abilities, like Pocket Sand, Get 'em, Captain America, Winnie the Pooh, Thundercats, oh, and I mean the good reboot from 2011! When you go to attack, you have these meters that appear showing you how much damage you'll do, your chance of hitting them, their defensive affinity, which only blocks damage of the same element. For example, if you hit them with an air affinity attack and they have air defensive affinity, it will reduce the incoming damage, but would be completely useless against a fire affinity attack. Speaking of affinity attacks, there are 4 levels for each one. The first 2 levels just deal elemental damage, but the third level, on top of doing heavy damage, can also leave the victim with a status effect. Each element has one specific effect tied to it. Fire can poison, air can freeze, and I didn't use the other 2 elements enough to figure that out. And the level 4 attack will summon the god of that element to attack all enemies at the same time. As for normal attacks, there's a swing meter that appears when you press the button that's shown to increase the damage of your attack. In the yellow, you get normal damage. In the blue, you get a wimpy little baby hit. In the red, you get a critical hit that not only does more damage than it says it will, but can't be dodged or blocked either. There have been many instances where somebody tries to block but just gets hit anyway, and if the swing meters are too hard for you, you can just turn them off and have all the attacks come down to a roll of the dice. But I like having that sort of skill involved with my attacks. Prepare for die! Running around on the world map, you will occasionally have random encounters against outlaws, undead, or wild animals, but the encounter rate is so low that I sometimes forget that this can even happen. Sometimes I try to get a random encounter, but it just doesn't happen. You can also pick up side quests from the shopkeepers, most of which involve fighting someone or something out in the field. And any battle outside of an arena is to the death. You can't die in the arena because they have healers standing by to pull that javelin out of your head. But they ain't out here, so if one of your gladiators gets taken down out here, they are gone. Unless they're an important character like Ludo. Both him and this random recruit I had went down in this fight, but Ludo was fine afterward, and this lady whose name I don't remember was gone. And if your chosen hero, in my case, Valens, falls out in the field, that's game over, with a nice picture of the Dark God in the background. So the rules of death only apply to the main character and random recruits. As for the voice acting, it's passable at best, mediocre at worst.
Feel the rush of the crowd's approval.
Yay! And the sound effects are great. That's exactly what it would sound like if somebody were hit with a big metal hammer, maniacal laugh included. As you fight your way through the leagues and tournaments, you eventually meet this old guy named Mutus, and he sucks. After winning all the tournaments and earning the necessary badges, you finally qualify for the regional championship in Imperia. And do you know how long it took me to qualify? 11 hours. It took me 11 hours to clear the first quarter of the game, which is probably why I remember this game so fondly. My parents didn't have the money to buy me a new game every time I wanted one, so this game lasted me a long time, which also means I'm sitting here with almost 40 hours worth of Gladius footage on my hard drive, 99% of which will never be used. After winning the championship, you're off to Nordok, where you meet this random guy who tells you somebody stole the heart of the Dark God, and rather than looking into it, you just go and earn the talisman for this region and compete in the games like nothing happened. After you leave the first town in Nordok, you find Ursula and her brother Erlin fighting witches. After helping them out, their father, King Orin II, says, "Ursula, join these guys. Erlin, you go do something else." So far, the battles have been simple. Just take down the other team, and the occasional wave battle where you have to fight multiple battles without getting health back between waves. But here in Nordok, they have different kinds of battles. There's King of the Hill, whoever stands on top of the hill the longest wins. Dominance, it's King of the Hill with more hill and less king. Point battles, where nobody gets hurt, and the winner is decided by whoever does the most damage. Rival nations, where each team has a statue they need to protect while trying to destroy the other one, and vandal battles, where the objective is to destroy more barrels than the other team. And to add some charm, the barrels all have names like Beans, Brine, and Monkeys. Fight your way to the championship, and then Erlin comes up and says, "I'm joining you!" And Ludo says, "Yeah, racism!" Meanwhile, an evil sorceress named Nephilia uses the heart of the Dark God to infuse Mutus and his underlings with evil juice. And then it's off to the Windward Steppes, where Valens and Ursula decide to change into something a little more revealing. Which I think is a terrible idea. If you're gonna go into battle with your entire upper body exposed like that, you might as well be wearing one of these. When you try to get your talisman here, the guy says, "You can't compete here without an archer." Then you get a free archer named Iji, and she does some serious work. I used her in almost every single battle after getting her. But while she is one of the most useful characters in the game, she is also the most annoying, because she says, "Do you like what you see?" Every time she attacks. Every.
Do you like what you see, Imperial?
Single.
Do you like what you see, Southerners?
Time.
Do you like what you see, Northerners? Do you like what you see, Northerner? Do you like what you see, Northerner?
It's so annoying.
I thought you just liked what you saw.
Shut up! Of course, I could turn the voice acting and sound effects off in the options, which I did so I could record the music to be used in this video, but that just makes the game seem so lifeless. It's just not the same without the barbarian saying, "Coming for you." So anyway, win the tournament and, now I gotta do that again. On to the next town and, son of a, why is this happening? My disc isn't damaged that bad. After winning a certain battle, Nephilia shows up and says to Ludo, "You should abandon your friend to do bad stuff with me." And Ludo says, "No, I will never abandon my friend." 2 tournaments later, he says, "Yeah, racism," and abandons his friend. Win the championship here, then you go to the Southern Expanse where Nephilia is having trouble with her plan, but she has a plan to fix the first plan. Once in the Expanse, you find a guy named Quasi being attacked by bandits. Save him, then he joins you, then you go to get the talisman. Now you're free to explore the desert and, oh my god, again? Fine, I'll fight in the arena. What the hell is this? You really tested my patience, game! There's only 2 tournaments in the Expanse as opposed to the usual 4 or 5, so this region doesn't take that long to clear, but as soon as you qualify for the championship, Quasi says, "Bad guys are going to break a magic crystal and kill all the water in the desert." So you go to stop that from happening, then Quasi says, "It's me, I'm bad guys." Kill him, championship! And finally, you qualify for the high tournaments in Caltha. At this point, you are finally free to go to whatever region you want to. Before, you were just stuck in that place until you won the championship. You couldn't go back to earlier places, but now you can just roam the world or head straight to Caltha. Once you enter the high tournaments, there's no backing out. Battle after battle, victory after victory. Eventually, you face Ludo in the final round. You beat him and become the champion of all of Imperia. Then suddenly, evil! The statue in the arena comes to life and kills the Emperor. Then Mutus kills the statue and everyone just decides to do whatever Mutus says. And he says, "Let's go invade Nordark!" Valens goes to ask the High Priestesses for help, and then you have to fight the guy who killed Ludo's dad, and the priestesses say, "Hey, you should go fight the gods." And that's exactly what you do. After meeting the 4 gods of the elements, the servants of the gods say, "Here's your dad's stuff, go use it." Then you fight Ludo again, and Valens sends him away after calling him stupid. Then you go to the temple where the heart of the dark god was sealed and find Mutus there, and he says, "I'm young now, and I killed your father." Beat him, then Nephilia kills him because she's evil, and the dark god rises again. Now here's a 3-phase final boss. First you kill the 8 guys here while the dragon on top sprays fire over a wide area in a circular pattern. Then kill the 4 faces, then it just kind of skips those 2 6-armed women and goes straight to the dragon. Valens slays the dark god, and Ursula's dead for no adequately explored reason. Then she says, "I'm a Valkyrie now, bye!" Valens is all bummed out because he never got to hit that. Meanwhile, Ludo's over here nailing the evil sorceress. Moral of the story, only bad guys get laid. While I do love this game, there are some complaints that I have. Why do the shields break? It would be less annoying if they were just out of commission for the rest of the battle, then you have it back at the end, but no, you have to constantly replace your broken shields, which makes it very difficult to upgrade the rest of your equipment, especially early game. Seriously, it costs less money to hire a new gladiator than to buy a new sword. You hear that, Briar? You're worth less than a blade on a stick! And then there's just how slow the game is, which isn't much of a problem in the first area, but as soon as they start throwing 3 or 4 teams into one battle, it takes forever to get your next turn. I don't care what these guys are doing to each other, just let me do something. This problem could have easily been fixed if you could just hold a button to fast forward through the opponent's turn. I have pressed every button on the controller, and nothing makes them go any faster. I'm just stuck here like, ow, 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 when's it gonna be my turn? And that is Gladius. It's got a few flaws, but it's still fun if you like strategy games. So can I have my ice cream now?
I will go the way of my word. Check your hand.
Whee!
And I have a surprise for you.
And the what? Bassius!
I didn't say it was a good surprise.
No. No! Hi, ice cream now. You may leave now. If I made it disappear, maybe I can bring it back too. You missed. I said drop it on my head, not my spine. Jesus! God damn. Hello, puberty. Yes, that's the name of the camp. The first step in